My name's Gio Vanders. Welcome back to another Valheim news episode. The Iron Gate Studios released another development blog called Rivals and Respites, and it says, "Hello 2024, we hope all of you had a lovely Yuletide and that you're ready for another year in the 10th world, because we sure are. As we mentioned last time, we're aiming to release the Ashlands update sometime during the first half of this year, and we're already hard at work to ensure that it happens. We want to kick the year off right with another episode of our Walk and Talk series. It seems like a lot of you really appreciate episode 1, and we hope you'll enjoy listening to us chat once again. I'm not gonna watch the episode with you guys can go do that on your own, but I will talk about some of the things what my notes say about it. There'll be a link in the description of the video that we're gonna be talking about. So they started off talking about some mobs. They talked about like their favorite mobs. One of them was called the Twitchel. They said that it was an annoying trash mob that was in the general area, and the reason why they made the Twitchel is because they didn't want the same mob to be in the fortresses and the general area, because they didn't want you to be going around the Ashlands and there being, this one mob, and then you go to the fortress and it'd still be the same mob. And they also have these Twitchel spawners, which is, the way how I see it, it's kind of like the Grey Dwarf spawners in the Black Forest. And another creature they talked about was called the Morgan. It's like a mini-boss creature, and they said that it had fun mechanics. So I'm thinking it's something kind of like the Troll, so it's like, difficult, but like not super difficult, or the Yawl. And then the last creature they were allowed to talk about was the Valkyrie. They said that it had gone through a lot of changes, and they said that they almost were going to get rid of it, but they made it so that they liked it, and so that it actually has a purpose and a place and a reason for why it's there. Unlike many of the creatures that the Minecraft developers add into that game, they don't want it to be like that. And there are other creatures that they talked about that, said that they can't talk about, so we don't have a name for them, we don't know what they look like, they haven't been released, but that means that there's more to this than they're letting on, which I think is a great thing, so there's not gonna be a lack of surprise when the update comes out. And then we were talking about that, they said something about a wall, and so that leads me to believe that it has something to do with the fortress. But it's Valheim, it very well could have been an outside force as well. Then they talked about all the biomes, the terrain, and they said that the biome is versatile, which in my mind means that there's going to be kind of like sub-biomes. So depending on where you are in Valheim, if you're next to the water, you're like, down close where all the trees are, and versus like being over in the rocky mountain areas with the lava. So the way how I see that, the biome is going to have sub-biomes, but that's not a guarantee. That's what I think about what they said. And the next thing they talked about was the flood metal. Then after just talking about the submetal, he immediately started talking about lava lakes for some reason, but it's because the lava lakes and the flood metal are related. He said originally that they were going to have the flood metal be inside the lava lakes, then they changed it so that there's going to be platforms in the middle of the lava with the flood metal, and you can go into the Ashlands right now and get some flood metal. I don't know if they're going to take it away when they update the game, but I highly recommend going out and getting some right now before the game updates, unless you don't want to cheat, if you consider that cheating. So, and then the next thing they were talking about was there were siege engines and something they like to call fortress time. And so essentially there's going to be battering rams and catapults. There might be other siege engines that they just didn't mention, or forgot to mention, or didn't want to say, but you'll have siege engines to be able to lay siege to fortresses, and to be able to you'll be able to go inside of the fortress to be able to get rewards inside the fortress. And they said that's going to be very difficult with lots of death. And they said that to be able to avoid death, you'll have to have actual tactics or teamwork. And I'm mostly a single player on Valheim, so not having anybody else to play with seems like this is going to be a very difficult time to be able to actually progress in Ashlands. Well, that was everything that they kind of talked about in a sort of summed up thing. And to continue, they say, just like last time, this episode shows off some things we haven't revealed previously. One such thing is a Twitchel spawner, which you will encounter a lot in the Ashlands. You'll have to check out the video to hear about what we say about them, but we'll give you a peek of what they look like right here. And it looks to me like it's something that you'd go up to, mine with your pickaxe to be able to take it away, and they spawn the Twitchers, which I think is like the sub-variant variant of the dark skeletons that they got going on. But like I said before, it's going to be kind of like the Greater of Spawners in the Black Forest, but with Twitchers instead. Something else we wanted to show you is an updated visual of the Fallen Valkyrie. She has really come a long way where we started out with her, and you'd better keep an eye on the sky if you want to avoid a swift death. And them saying that makes me think that it's going to be kind of like the Death Squeeders, but potentially maybe worse. While most things in Ashlands are indeed out to get you, there are still places where you might find some rest and refuge, at least for a particular moment or two. This temple is one such place, though you will still need to be on guard in case the charred dead decide to return to their place of worship. So there does seem to be, like, in this update, there's going to be a lot more structures than the other biomes have, which on a lore perspective kind of suggests to me that there used to be some kind of empire in the Ashlands that fell somehow. Well, that was all that I have for today. Until the next time they do a development blog. I do have a Valheim series going on right now, where I play through Valheim on the hardest combat difficulty with no bat, but to compensate I have 3 times resources. And with that, it'd be fantastic if you gave me a sub sandwich, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.